And this is how you end up with a man that's not even going to attempt it. Because when he finds out that you did this, he's gonna realize that every other repair was probably the same thing. This would be equivalent to you being in charge of the dishes and him purposely making a bunch of extra dishes because you clearly look bored. Oh, the reaction of women if a man actually made a video doing that. He would get ripped to shreds. But somehow this is okay. Also, if that's just a painted wall, that water sitting on it probably is going to either leave streaks on the paint or potentially damage the wall a little bit. Is he going to be in charge of fixing that too?
Yeah, man, I'm assuming that this is a prank or something like that, maybe from a channel, but a lot of these modern women don't have anything else to do. They don't want to see their man happy and peaceful. When a man takes care of his responsibility, I think this is kind of something I was talking about in another video when a woman was essentially saying, well, after 5 o'clock, you still have responsibilities, da 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 da. It's always on her time schedule. If she doesn't feel like you're being productive enough, even if there are things that have been done, obviously there's more things that need to be done. If you don't get everything done on her time schedule, then you must not be doing something right.
And of course you could start dinner, so right as he gets home, if you know what time, dinner is already ready. But yeah, like pretty much all day, what are you going to do? That's why I'm so confused by the women that say that they don't want to do anything. Because you see some ladies expecting him to not only go to work and pay all the bills, but she's also not okay cooking and cleaning. And even then, most cooking and cleaning does not take all day long. Unless you're cleaning the house from top to bottom like a full detailing. Even then, you're not going to be doing that every day. Most people do not make food from scratch, and we have appliances and conveniences that make our lives easier. So a man wanting you to, have a job as well and help pay bills is really not him asking for much. What I found is a lot of men are more than happy to help around the house if it means he only has to worry about half the bills rather than all of them. Of course, this changes slightly if you have kids. There's no reason why us ladies shouldn't be pulling our weight.
Exactly. And this is the type of stuff that men say. We know you're not being productive. We know you're not really doing anything at home. Even though you're shouting and screaming and kicking and hollering, you just confirm to us exactly what you're doing.
Crying over guys who weren't even paying bills? Ghetto! Crying over guys who weren't even doing anything for you? Tacky!
Was it that he wasn't doing anything for you, or did you not notice or acknowledge it? And relationships aren't supposed to be just about transactions, him paying for things. That's what a job is for. And what if he's doing everything else for you? Does that matter? Does that mean anything? Him being there for you? Him doing his best? Then what? He pays all your bills and then what? You guys aren't compatible at all? Then you're still going to be unhappy either way. I hate how this relationship advice these days is basically, oh, if he pays your bills, you're magically happy and it's the perfect relationship. But if he doesn't, it's not. That's not the case. What's the point of us having jobs at that point? This is why so many men have walked away from relationships and they're not even trying to date. Because they've realized that the only thing they're cared about on is their wallet.
I like the point that she made about, was he not doing anything for you, or did you just not notice it? For a lot of modern women, it's the latter. They don't notice anything, the man's not doing anything, but they can give you a list of 50 to 100 things in the span of about 30 seconds that they're doing to keep the house running. And that's what's contributing to their mental load and mental fatigue.
You want her to know that you care, notice the little things, okay? Haircuts, that's a fairly big thing, I would say, but some people don't notice it. Notice the haircuts. Notice the nails, right? Like, could be the tiniest difference. It could be pretty much the same color. Notice the nails, look at the nails and be like, oh, wow, so pretty. Remember the details she tells you about her friends. Like if she's like, oh, Susan went on a date with Brian last Friday, ask about it. Be like, how did it go for them? Notice the little shifts in her mood. If you want huge brownie points, notice when her period is. Get the period app. I've said it before.
I'm assuming she means like longer term relationship when she already knows you pretty well. Well, I feel like this sounds nice in theory. With some ladies, if you notice all of the tiny little details, something that like other women only notice, and you take that too far, I think sometimes that can come off the wrong way for a lady and she may be a little bothered by it or even self-conscious. So I think, compliment, oh, your nails look nice or whatever is fine, but maybe not noticing the slight color variations. I would like to think a lot of non-toxic women out there don't expect men to notice all the tiny little details. Like if I go get a small hair trim and not a drastic haircut, I really don't expect my husband to even notice that. Now again, I cut my hair up to here, then yeah, I would expect him to notice a change. But that's the bad thing about advice like this, is it could really go either way depending on who you're dealing with and how attracted she is to you. Because some compliments are considered okay, but if she's not attracted to you, those comments can almost come off as creepy. Like if you're keeping track of her period and you don't know her that well. That's definitely long-term relationship stuff if you want to go that route. Even then, a lot of ladies don't want emphasis on stuff like that. They would rather you just not know, but if she says she's craving something or not feeling well, you can be empathetic and there for her. Oh, also with the friends, if you remember too many details about her friends, she may take that the wrong way and assume you're attracted to her friends. So within reason.
I think what she's saying is, I want you to know me intimately. I want you to know everything about me. I want to be able to, it's really like a pop quiz is what it is. When I start talking about Samantha, you're up to date on Samantha. They want you to be a machine is essentially what it is. Know this, know that, know this, know that. They want you to function as if you're ChatGPT. Like Lynn was saying, some of that stuff makes sense. But then a lot of the other stuff that she was talking about, it could go either way, to where some of the stuff is not necessary at all.
They still exist, they're just being very cautious. Because a lot of these men have been burned horribly. And for the ladies that show up in their relationships and do their absolute best to work on themselves and create peace in a man's life, we unfortunately sometimes get punished because of the women out there who are toxic, who never tried, who constantly cause problems. But if your goal is to get married and have kids, there are still men out there. Just make sure you are wife material. And be understanding that a lot of men out there are struggling because of the things they've been through. And avoid having unrealistic expectations out of your man, because that seems to be a common thing too. Consider realistically what you're looking for and how many men realistically have those traits.
Please, do any of the men out there want a wife? I don't understand, where did the men that want to be a husband and father go? They're sitting at the house, dude, watching videos, playing games, chilling out, relaxing, staying away from toxicity and drama. You have to start talking. Honestly and truly, you can start talking online, and a lot of men would come, comment on your videos. And from there, you can start vetting the guys if you want to. There's plenty of good guys on dating apps. You just have to do the work on finding them. Not because they're 6 feet, not because they have a six-pack, not because they have six figures, but because they have integrity, they have good behavior, and they have good morals and values.
What do the women that beat men look like? Like, I hear so much about them, but what do they look like?
So obviously my first instinct was to go to the comment section, because I don't know if there's a specific look. That's what makes it so difficult. There were a ton of women bragging about how they're one of them. Oh, just look at my picture. I'm right here. If a woman made a video asking this very question and the comment section was full of men being like, oh, I'm right here, look at my profile picture, basically admitting to what they do, there would be women like taking down names and calling and filing reports. These men would be held accountable for even just saying that. No one would find it funny, but somehow when it's about men, it's funny? And women are proudly admitting in the comment section? Is that really where we're at now? I just don't see how this is funny in any shape or form. And this man's question might have been genuine on some fronts. Maybe he genuinely wants to know what to watch out for. I mean, I guess those women are identifying themselves.
If it's anything involved in stupidity, modern women are going to be a part of it. If it's anything bragging about when these modern women say, if another man invites me over, I'm going to rob him. If it's anything that has to do with being toxic, filled with drama, going in the absolute wrong direction, modern women are probably going to be a part of it.
What would you do if your partner said they didn't want you getting any more tattoos? For context, my boyfriend and I have been together for about 5 months, and I very clearly have quite a few tattoos. And we were having a conversation yesterday. I sent him a picture of this girl that had 2 arm sleeves, and I said that I thought it looked really good. And his response was, If you think this looks good, then we need to reconsider what we're doing here. He then went on to say it gets to a point where it's too many. And he has voiced this opinion before in the past, saying, I think, too many tattoos is unattractive. I think what you have is fine, which I've always said I don't want my whole body covered in tattoos, but I've always considered doing my other arm, at least finishing my one arm.
His opinion on this is completely valid, but so is yours. You guys are only 5 months in, and this is a pretty big issue. Now, unless one of you is willing to compromise somehow, maybe you talk to him about what's too much to him and try to get a very detailed idea of what that is and see if you can reasonably work with that. But if not, I think both of you would be better off finding someone you're a little bit more compatible with. There are plenty of people out there who are pro or against tattoos. I also feel like having tattoos can be kind of part of a lifestyle for some people, and if that's a lifestyle you lean towards and he's against that completely, it's going to be a lot more than you guys not having a like for tattoos in common. It's going to be more than that. So again, that adds to your guys' potential lack of compatibility with that. I think if you guys were in a relationship longer, then it would definitely change some things. You would definitely need to consider more on compromising with this, both of you. But because your relationship has been so short, it might be a sign of something more.
Once again, I really liked what Lynn said here about if, one of you guys want to compromise and say, well, what is too much? That's effective communication. Well, what do you see as too much? Because I like that. Even in marriage, even in relationships, there's going to be something that your partner likes that you absolutely hate. You're disgusted by it. They love it. I mean, I can't get enough of it. Oh, I love peanut butter. I love it. I mean, I cannot get enough peanut butter. Don't come talk to me. Don't go. And it's, I'm using that as an example, but that's the same way it is with other things, right? So this is one of those things. You kind of love tattoos. He doesn't really like them. He likes them to a point. So what you have right now, he's like, cool, I like that. But if you get any more, I'm like, I don't want my woman covered in tat. I see where he's coming from. If you get another tattoo in your sleeve and you get another sleeve and now you want to do it on your neck and now you want to do it all over your face, I don't want to get into a relationship with a woman that says this is my stopping point and she never really stops. I get where he's coming from. But once again, like Lynn said, that's why you need to have a detailed conversation about it and be honest. 5 months in, y'all can go ahead and chunk the deuce, call it quits. Hey, I love you. I'll see you around. Be safe.
This Christmas, any gifts my husband got were gifts for him, while any gifts I got were for my child. While I'm grateful to get anything for my sweet little newborn, it's frustrating to see that right now the only title I have is mom. And it's a great title, don't get me wrong.
I'm going to play the other side of this just for a minute. You talked about how your husband's able to continue his hobbies, but you kind of feel like yours are falling off because you're so busy with the newborn. And people only buy gifts for the baby for you rather than for you specifically. Are you emphasizing and talking about your hobbies a lot? I ask this because I notice a lot of moms, while with perfectly good intentions, will often just talk about their baby. They don't talk about the things that they like to do or whatever. And I get it, you don't have time to do those things. But I have noticed when people give gifts, it's based on whatever they do know about you. A lot of people will not randomly go out on a limb and just kind of buy you something that they don't think you're going to like. Like if you've never talked about reading, they're probably not going to buy you a book. I'm not justifying it. I definitely think they should be getting you gifts specifically, but that's also something worth considering in this situation. Ideally, when your baby gets gifts instead of you, maybe you and your husband can budget out some extra money so you can go out and pick yourself something out based on your hobbies and interests. But again, are you really talking about your hobbies, still emphasizing them, even if you don't have time for them? You have a love for art or painting or whatever it is. And I genuinely wish people didn't do this. Like, even if they gave you a gift card, if they've seen you at Starbucks one time, they're like, okay, she likes those. Just whatever it is.
Once again, I agree. It goes along the lines of effective communication. If you're not really talking about anything else but the baby needs this, the baby needs that, then he's going to do things. And a lot of people are going to do things and give you things to make your life easier as a mother. Having a child is a huge feat. It's something that is going to take up a good chunk of your time. And so if there's something somewhere that I can give to you that makes it easier on your back, on your joints, carrying the baby around, or being able to occupy the baby while you go out and do some things, fantastic. But if you never actually communicate, okay, besides the baby, I would like this, or when I get time, I would really like to do this. When the man hears, okay, when I get time, so that way he can set in motion behind the scenes, okay, mom, dad, can y'all keep the baby? Me and the lady are going to go to a concert, or we're going to go to a comedy club, that sort of thing. Because you communicated, maybe not even directly, but indirectly said, man, whenever we get time, if ever we get time to, have somebody babysit, this is what I want to do. Say that and let the man plan.
Yeah, okay. Handle. Do I need to say more? Have you noticed it's always women saying this that are around that age rather than men or younger women saying this? A lot of men date younger because they want peace. There's a lot of people out there who, as they go through a lot of different things, instead of working on themselves and not being bitter, they become very bitter and very toxic. And they never look inward to see where they can fix it. Women who are younger don't usually have that problem. They haven't become bitter, and that makes them very attractive and easy to be around. A lot of these ladies like to try new things and are open-minded about that. So dates are more fun. So that man, if he wanted to try anything new, or maybe he was in a long-term relationship that was very boring and it was all about her and her needs and wants, he has an opportunity to do fun things and do the things he's always wanted that he tried with his past relationships and it didn't work out because she wasn't open-minded about trying new things. She was set in her ways that his feelings and needs never mattered. And for younger women, they often want to meet their man's needs as well.
Can't do wifey shit for a boyfriend, and sometimes not even a husband. If you're a natural caretaker, you're gonna think that it's your responsibility as a woman to do these things for a man. Do not forget that you were doing labor. If you're at home taking care of the house, I don't care if he's paying for your life, you're taking care of him. Taking care of you. The misconception is that if you're a homemaker, then you're not working. Oh, he retired you. He made it so you don't have to work anymore. Working.
So he's not taking care of you at all? This is why a lot of men don't even want to bother with this type of relationship. Because he doesn't even get credit when he does provide. It's not worth anything. He's not taking care of the woman. Yeah, he is. It's funny how we say, oh, don't do wifey crap on a girlfriend's salary or whatever it is. But we are more than happy to ask him to do husband stuff on a boyfriend package. Or do husband stuff right off the bat before you guys are even in a relationship. He's expected to go above and beyond on the dates, pay for things. And if not, you just rule him out. In a relationship, both people are supposed to be contributing. In a relationship, both people are supposed to be contributing. Saying, oh, you don't have to cook and clean and you don't have to go to work. What are you supposed to do then? What are you bringing into the relationship? And why would any man sign up for that willingly? And this is also another reason why so many men don't want to ever get married. Because he knows taking that next step guarantees him nothing. That she can make all the promises in the world. Oh, I'll cook for you if you marry me. I'll do this if you marry me. And then he marries you and you're like, well, I don't have to do that. I've actually heard of some men where the woman promised all these things to him. He marries her and then she does nothing. She does even less than what she did before they got married. Tell him that. Tell him you love that. Also be willing to reciprocate. Do those things for him. And don't ever punish him for opening up to you or being vulnerable. And do realize a lot of men don't feel comfortable doing these things anymore because it's been used against them at some point. So make sure you never use those things against a man. And realize the extreme opposites of some of these things. If he writes you a handwritten love note, then appreciate his vulnerability in other ways.
So I have a yoga membership, so that's $150 a month. I get my hair colored at least once a month. Okay. That's about $180. Hair products, $150. Makeup, $300. I do go to saunas, $55 a day. And then I'll get a massage like once a month, and that's like $1.
You don't have to get any of these things. And you shouldn't expect a man to just pay for them. If you want these things, great. They bring value into your life. They make you happy. But listing it off like, I expect you to pay for these things. Excuse me? Why would any man willingly sign up for that? I think it's one thing, if you guys are in a long-term, happy relationship, you bring a lot of value into it, and he can reasonably afford these things, great. Some guys will be willing to do that for you. You make that as a condition of whether or not he gets to date you, you lower your value in his eyes. He could find a woman that's so much less maintenance that brings more or the same amount of value that you possibly bring. These same women 5-10 years down the road are asking where all the good men have gone, and they don't understand why they're single. This is why.
Personally couldn't date someone who has more than like double digits. To me it's like too much, you
Like
know, but
20?
I'm way too much.
Really?
Way too much.
What about when you were saying that you were like a boy back
I'm
in
a
your
guy.
time?
It's completely different.
Oh,
I'm
so
sorry.
you think that you can like whoever you want, but like girls
I'm
can't?
sorry, it's completely different.
It's a double standard, yeah.
It is what it is.
Yeah, it's true that double standard does exist because a lot of women don't care about that specifically, but I can tell you I do know of a lot of women who actually do. There's a lot of women that keep their number very low, but they also expect the man that they're with to also keep their number low. So it's worth considering. I think it's a valid preference either way. I know there's people out there, both men and women, who don't care, and then there's also men and women out there who do care. So you always need to consider who you're looking for in a relationship and what type of qualities they're going to want out of you, and then plan your life accordingly. But for some of the women I've talked to, a lot of them would rather take a man that's a little bit more experienced than inexperienced, which I think is also silly in some cases. Just because a man isn't experienced doesn't mean he can't be a good partner overall. My men don't approach women anymore. It used to be a man would approach a woman, he would get her phone number, would then get a date and then gradually build a relationship with her. You know, maybe he had to go on a few dates before he found someone. There are pretty simple steps to all of it. Now there's unclear signals. She might act disinterested, but she actually is. She may act nice in the moment and then contact her friends or contact somebody else because she doesn't feel safe. He gets shamed for it. He could be filmed and posted on social media. Overall, it's higher stakes and more potential downsides to the point it is not even worth it. She may say ew or put him down when she could literally just politely say no. It's not about, oh, the worst she could say is no. That's so far from the truth. A lot of men don't want to be labeled as creepy or inappropriate. Not only that, but there's endless ghosting nowadays. And women are justified with just about anything that they do. It doesn't matter how disrespectful, how impolite. Oftentimes, the man is blamed no matter what. After all of this, men are often forced to initiate and pay and plan, and it's taken as bare minimum, and all of his efforts in the relationship are considered bare minimum. He knows he won't even get appreciated, and sometimes not even a thank you.
I just wanted to point out that if you voiced a complaint about your significant other on social media, but you haven't actually voiced that complaint with your significant other, you're the problem in your relationship.
100% agreed. And what's sad is what ends up happening is these complaints on social media probably get around, not only to friends and family, but to everybody else. And that just totally destroys trust in relationships. You can't come back from some of that. Also, you sometimes see these same people posting this stuff, wondering why people give so much unsolicited advice. You're posting it publicly. I've actually had so many women message me with an issue they're having in their relationship, and one of the first most obvious questions I ask is, hey, did you talk to him about this? And they'll be like, no. Why not? You haven't even given him the opportunity to address the issue. You cannot expect your partner to read your mind. Not only that, but you encourage everyone around you to judge what's happening in your relationship based only on your point of view. Because they're not going to call up your partner and be like, hey, did this and this happen? Can you tell me your side of it? No, they're going to take your side at face value. And their opinion of your partner is going to decline. And that's going to affect you long term. You should be in resolution mode rather than looking for validation that your side of it is correct. Even if you think you might be in the wrong, it's worth calmly discussing that with your partner anyways. Because oftentimes it's not about being right or wrong. It's sometimes about coming up with a happy compromise, or maybe in that moment you're feeling insecure and you just need him to give you some validation. And again, he can't do that if you expect him to read your mind.
I agree 200%. 200%. And this is very damaging to your relationship. And it becomes an embarrassment, and you become a public spectacle in front of everybody. Your parents know, your family knows, your friend knows, friends know, co-workers know, the boss knows. How embarrassing is it to have to walk into work and people know all of your business? I don't know about you, but that's not something that I would want to run into. But modern women think it's okay. Oh, well, I'm just sharing my story. I'm just trying to be honest. I'm just trying to vent, and he should support me in that. Well, you should support him too in being quiet. You should support him too in respecting his decision to keep things private. Go vent to mom and dad. Keep it under wraps. Go vent to your friends if they're okay to vent to, because some of these ladies out here, they're not good. You can't trust them. They'll try to keep you single. They'll try to get you divorced and say, oh, he wasn't good for you anyway. And then have you out there in the street with them, lonely, miserable, and single. So yes, you need to be communicating that to them instead of telling TikTok.
The best relationship is the kind of relationship where you can go and support each other in areas that like you wouldn't necessarily go to yourself. Like I teach a Taylor Swift spin class every single week, and the amount of boyfriends that come who hate Taylor Swift but come anyways, so cute, so sweet, we love it.
I fully agree with her, but it's important that you reciprocate as a woman. Maybe go to his sport games or anything that he's interested in. It has to go both ways. And then also be understanding if he doesn't want to go sometimes, because it's probably not going to be his favorite thing. Yeah, more women need to realize this. And it's not necessarily a bad thing, because attraction is in the eye of the beholder, and because you can't attract your own type doesn't mean you can't find someone absolutely amazing. And I've realized if you go up and ask someone, oh, why is so-and-so your type? They usually can't even answer why. Because they just want what everybody else wants. It's like when we're in school. Remember in junior high or high school, everyone liked the same guy or girl? There wasn't a whole lot of variation. It's just like that. And you may have the best intentions, but at the end of the day, no one's looking at intention. They look at what you look like initially, or what you're holding, or how you carry yourself. And while you could potentially change yourself to become a little bit more attractive to your type, sometimes you're better off being realistic and finding the absolute best person that likes you as much as you like them. A lot of women think that they're just going to be able to find someone who makes a lot of money or looks a very specific way, but they're not willing to cultivate those qualities into themselves. And that's ultimately a decision you have to make. And do you really want to compete for someone against like tons of different women? Or would you rather find someone just as amazing who looks a little bit different?
Why do men wait till they're 45 years old and balding to take marriage and relationships seriously? And then they got the nerve to turn around and say, oh, I want a woman that's 20 or 21 years old. I don't want a woman my age. Women my age are washed up. Sir, and you're not?
Have you seen how that actually plays out for them, though? A lot of those men end up with a woman in her 20s if that's what he's looking for. So does that really mean he's washed up? It's funny how we have so many women complaining, oh, men don't want to take relationships seriously until they're a little bit older, because they don't realize the risk that men have to take in relationships to begin with. And yes, to be fair, a lot of men who are much younger than that take relationships seriously in general, but a lot of them end up getting burned. And some men realize, marriage is just not worth it in general, and then they never plan to get married. It's by choice, it's not by force. And if it really bothers you that some of these men are dating younger, then why not cultivate those qualities that you see in those younger women that those men are attracted to into yourself? So at that point, if you want a man that's around your age, you can get one no problem, because you have all those wonderful qualities that he's looking for. That looks amazing. And yeah, that's the reality these days, is a lot of women can't cook. They pretend they know how to attract a man, and then they don't. I have heard of so many men in relationships where she promises to cook and clean once they get married. So he gets married to her, and then she doesn't do any of it. I think it's wonderful that you've learned how to cook, though. But this is also why I don't think it's that big of a deal if men also expect us to pay bills. I mean, we gotta contribute something. But some women claim that men are bringing less to the table, and I couldn't disagree with that more. More men know how to cook. More men not only have careers, but they know how to clean. They know how to raise kids. They know these things, and they're happy to contribute. Now they're asking themselves, what do you bring? Because it has to go both ways. We just don't give men enough credit in general. They are doing so much more consistently than what we used to see. And yet, they're constantly shamed and put down all over the internet. What?
husband material, that they're high value, high quality. Whereas with men, men like a conquest, men are hunters. They're the ones that are going to see what they want and go and get it. If they're doing that with multiple women, they are spreading themselves out too thin, and they're gonna give each woman like 50% of the pursuing effort, because that's just natural. You only have so much time in a day. So you're spreading your time out with multiple people. How can you prove yourself to that woman that you're willing to invest in her and invest in a relationship with her?
She says that women should have rosters, but not men. And this is her argument for it. That's another problem, is a lot of men don't want to chase. Also, you say, the 50% effort instead of 100%. Yeah, I get that. But that's actually for the best. Because we see men who pour so much into a woman that he barely even knows. And does he end up in a relationship? No. That's how he ends up in the friend zone. So I would argue that he should realistically be dating other women until he's in a relationship. Also, men don't get dates as easily as women do. He can't just go on and, the app and sit there and swipe for 5 minutes and get a match and then realistically meet up with that person that night. Men are swiping thousands of times, maybe even more than that, for maybe one match, maybe. And then he gets ghosted quite frequently. So in the early stages, I would argue it's better for men to have a couple options if he has that available to him. He shouldn't pass it up, because the girl he takes out first probably won't work out, because most of the women men take out don't work out initially. It takes him a while to actually find a girlfriend.
What do you hate the most about dating?
Men don't put in any effort.
Men make the first move. Men will ask you on the first date. They'll plan it. Sometimes they'll pick you up. Often they'll pay for it. They'll sometimes buy you flowers or a gift in addition to that. Men initiate texts, phone calls, any type of communication. They move the relationship forward. Throughout the relationship, they do their best to meet all of your expectations, even though their expectation list is a lot smaller than ours. Depending on the man, you often get to move in with him rather than it being the other way around. You benefit off all of his hard work that he has done in years and years.
Anytime a man refuses to do something for you, just remember there is a woman out there that he will do it for and will do it happily. It's not you. I hate it when people try to justify this on either side. Whether it's the man trying to justify, oh, I don't really buy flowers, I don't really buy dinners, I don't really do gifts. Bullshit, yes you do. I hate it even more when women justify it and be like, oh, he's just not that type of guy, he doesn't really do that. Men have loved women to the point of invention. Men have loved women to the point of sacrificing themselves for her.
That's just it though. Some men genuinely don't do those things. And if you speak up and communicate how much it means to you and you appreciate him, he might consider doing some of those things for you. As long as what you're asking for is within reason. Sometimes men feel like they're walking on eggshells because you're not asking for 1 or 2 things. You're asking for 20 different things. And you're not really asking, you're demanding and you're being aggressive about it. And then when he does it, you're just like, finally, rather than, thank you, I appreciate that. And sometimes at the end of the day, you're just not compatible. People always assume, oh, they just didn't like, they take it personal. They're like, okay, he doesn't do it for me because something's wrong with me per se. But he'll do it for another woman. No, maybe that's just not how he shows up in relationships. Maybe what you want and need is different from what he wants and needs. Maybe you guys aren't compatible on that level. Maybe you guys need to have serious conversations and see if you guys can make it work. It's not always personal. It's not always about you. And sometimes maybe he doesn't know, or he doesn't know how to show up in that way. We don't know everything either. And with that specific example about him spending 3 hours working on a cake for someone else, I mean, that's not cool. But that doesn't mean it represents all men. I hate how all these things are, it's like, oh, men are like this. Here's one example. It's like, no, there's plenty of men not like that.
And I love what she talked about when she said the timeline. Well, I need it done like that. Y'all start driving like a sled or something like that. Like this is like a dog sled or something like that. Y'all trying to race and y'all just whipping, pow. Y'all just cracking that whip. That's the way that y'all be talking to some of these men. That's the way that you'll be handling a lot of these men. Your husbands, you call them the people, the love of your life, and y'all treat him and talk to him like that. Oh man, if he's going to do that. And like she said, y'all give him a list of 20 different things and they all have to be a certain way. It's like y'all will go, when I used to work at Starbucks, People would come in with like 10 orders, 10 orders with people behind them, knowing that people are behind them. They got places to be. They would come in with 10 orders and they would say, okay, here's drink number 1. And instead of it being a black coffee, 2 pumps of this, half a pump of that, 3.5 and 3/7 pump of this. And then they would go in with like 10 different ingredients. And that would be the first drink. And the cup would be marked up like a playbook. And then they would do that for the rest of the 10 drinks. That's how modern women act. Well, I want to like this. And they have like 50 different things that they want the man to do. And if the man should mess up or forget one thing in your order, then all of a sudden he didn't do anything right. He's incompetent. He's not the one for you. I could have done it better myself. Then why didn't you? Y'all make life miserable for men with all of this nonsense and these hard and fast rules that you can't even live by.
Okay. Your egg's almost done. Can you get your toast and put butter on it, please?
Yeah, I'll do it now.
Babe,
What?
can you stop scrolling and go put butter on your toast?
I'm going to. Hold on.
Hold on.
Babe, I'm doing it.
You don't do anything.
I'm doing it right now.
You literally don't do anything. No, bro.
He's an adult. I don't think you should order your partner around like that. He said he would do it. Either let him do it when he does it, or I mean, if you needed to grab a plate to put the eggs somewhere, load up his eggs on the plate and then just leave his plate there. He said he would do the toast. So let him do the toast. Let him get the butter. I'm assuming she was probably working on her eggs or her eggs were done. I mean, you have your food. Just go sit down and start eating your breakfast. If you create a lot of situations like this, your partner starts to feel like they're constantly walking on eggshells. No one wants to be like ordered around on basic things all the time. This man is capable of putting butter on bread. I'm sure of it. Just let him do it when he gets a second.
Genuine question for men. Do you like being single? Because me, I'm not enjoying it. I want someone to love me for who I am. So, do men enjoy it?
Every man's gonna answer this differently. Some men are super happy single, especially since they went through a lot of difficult relationships and they're not willing to put themselves out there and risk that again, which makes sense. But what I've noticed is there's a lot of men that don't enjoy being single. They're also not willing to be with someone that doesn't treat them great. He wants a woman that reciprocates. And I absolutely love that this woman is speaking honestly about this. I feel like so many of us ladies sit here and be like, oh, I don't need a man. It's embarrassing to have a boyfriend. I hate men, or whatever they say. They sit there and put down relationships nonstop, but then you see those same women dating and going into relationships, claiming that all men suck or all men don't know this or that, using generalized statements that are just pointless. We all need people in our lives. And yes, maybe that's not in the form of a relationship, but maybe we have a close family or a tight-knit friend group, which are awesome and amazing, by the way. But it's okay to come on here and be like, oh, I'm in a relationship and I love it. It makes me so happy and fulfilled. That's how I feel. And then women like her, oh, I'm single, but I kind of wish I wasn't. There's a lot of people out there and I'd love to meet one that's perfect for me. I think the sooner more ladies are honest with themselves about wanting a relationship, the sooner they'll find someone that's great for them, that's solid. When you have this negative mindset of, oh, all men are bad, it's going to be so much harder for you to find those good men. Because it's like those good men, they know you're saying stuff like that. They're repelled by it. And even if you don't say it, it's obvious with your overall energy. Men will start to feel like you have a scoreboard for them. That if he doesn't fit each and every single expectation you have, you'll cut it off. He'll feel used. He won't feel genuinely liked for who he is. And what a lot of ladies do not realize is appreciation is fuel for that effort. You want him to do more? Appreciate him. Say thank you. Don't expect it. Literally no one wants to keep putting in work for someone who doesn't even like it or appreciate it, who just thinks they're entitled to it. When someone doesn't feel valued, they stop giving. There's nothing embarrassing or bad about looking someone in the eye and being like, thank you, I really appreciate what you did for me. Especially on dates, like first dates, he doesn't know you yet. This stranger has chosen to do nice things for you. I think you owe that man a thank you. This is also why a lot of men are doing very simple dates now, because they don't want to be around this type of energy.
It's so offensive to think that a man would think that you would like him for free. It's so offensive for a man to think that you would give him your time, your body, marriage, have his children, carry on his legacy, have an extension of him for free.
You realize these things are supposed to be mutual, right? You're supposed to find a man that you actually like as a person, and actually want to have kids with and get married to and be with. Why is this so hard to understand? I just don't get it. Do you realize that men are humans too, that want to be loved for who they are? What if a man was only with you for some superficial reason, that you could cook well or something like that, and that's the only reason he was with you? You probably wouldn't put up with that for more than 2 seconds, but men are supposed to be okay with being objectified based on the contents of their bank account. Really? Men want and deserve love as well. And what man would be okay being used like this? Perfect relationships are a complete myth. Too many people break off relationships that are decent, that can be built up, because it doesn't look a specific way. They compare themselves to their friends. And I don't know who needs to hear this, but you will not find someone who reads your mind, that can fix all of your childhood wounds that you haven't fixed, that meets all of your needs all the time, and someone that never annoys you, because let's be real here, a healthy relationship has all of those traits sometimes. And if you want more content like this, follow me. And the thing is that you're not perfect either, and we all know that. Your partner's not going to be perfect, and you can't expect them to be. And for a lot of people, the only reason they actually want a perfect partner is they don't want to have to do the work in the relationship. Yeah, I said it. Because if someone's perfect, you never have to communicate with them because they can read your mind. You never have to adjust or grow, because again, it takes care of itself. You never have to address the things that trigger you. And you never have to examine yourself because again, the relationship's perfect. And to be fair, we all want comfort at times. But sometimes having a good connection with someone's a little uncomfortable at times. Most of the time it shouldn't be, but a lot of real relationships require some work, sacrifices, and hard conversations, and some self-awareness that most people don't have. And the thing is, compatibility isn't discovered. You don't just find the perfect person for you. A lot of it's built. And even healthy relationships include disagreements, boredom, differences, bad days, miscommunication, and those habits that they have that you don't like, but you love them enough that you're like, I'm just gonna forget this exists. There is no version of love where two humans sync perfectly. Also, life forces changes. Careers, stress, goals, health, aging, family, the environment. You can't always free someone in their best phase that you loved so much. You can't expect them to not ever change.
90% of sexually active women are already on birth control, and that is the number one reason why abortions happen in the first place, because of failed birth control.
Actually, when it comes to unwanted pregnancies, 52% of women weren't actually using contraception at all. 43% was she was using it incorrectly or inconsistently. But only 5% was the birth control actually failing. And I'm a firm believer both adults in the situation need to be proactive in preventing it if that's what they don't want. Especially since there are some women out there who do trap men with this method. Because after she's pregnant, you basically have no rights, so... But pretending that abortion happens because of failed birth control is very misleading. Too many women will see a good man as plan B. They don't want him first. Instead, they want him after they're exhausted, after they've been through 10 horrible relationships. They want the chaos, the excitement, the bad decision. But then they wonder why those men end up rejecting them later. Why they end up happy with somebody else. It's because she saw his value right off the bat. And a lot of these women don't want to admit, but a good man requires accountability. He won't put up with the emotional chaos you bring into his life or the disrespect. He won't be okay with you giving him the silent treatment or being manipulative. He sees right through it. And this is why so many women end up single down the road. They spent years not taking relationships seriously. And then they want a good man to step into their life and bring value. Good men require good communication, accountability, respect, and consistency. And if you can't bring that, he wants nothing to do with you. And that is why we have so many women these days asking where have all the good men have gone. They're still there, but they're not gonna go into a relationship that's one-sided, that's for sure. A lot of them have already been burned, and they're not willing to go through it again. Oh yeah, because looks is the only thing that matters, right? And I thought someone's appearance doesn't determine their overall value as people. He should feel lucky he's with a beautiful girl. What's her personality like? And I'm sure these ladies found these men at least decently attractive, otherwise they wouldn't be on a date with them, right? Because beauty is in the eye of the beholder. A lot of men already are losing so much interest in dating. A lot of men won't even date anymore, period. And if we keep treating men the way that we currently do, this is gonna be just a normal thing. All the men who still have hope and are still dating are just gonna stop. We need to come to a middle ground so everybody can be happy in relationships and no one feels used or taken advantage of. Why is physical touch so many men's love language? It's not just about going all the way. Even just a hug or a kiss means the world to him. I'm seeing so many videos of men being shamed for this being their love language, their default. And it's so frustrating because men literally cannot have another love language if you think about it without being shamed. If he wants compliments, why does a grown man need compliments? You know, he would be made fun of for that. Words of affirmation? You're being too emotional. Acts of service, we always tell men to do it themselves. Quality time, we accuse him of being controlling or clingy. And even physical touch is shamed. Men are often not touched at all in life. It's all conditional, like men have to pay for it in some cases. Like, when's the last time you've seen two men giving each other a hug? Probably not super often. I mean, he can't hug his girlfriends without being considered weird in some cases, which I think we should normalize both of those things. I think it's wonderful. But yeah, when a man finally feels safe with someone and is in a relationship, yeah, he's gonna want a little bit more of that. He's been deprived for most of his life. Some men may not have mothers or fathers that give them hugs, so even more so. Also, we shame men for being vulnerable and asking, for a hug or cuddling or whatever it is could be seen as him being very vulnerable. So him asking for more is a little bit easier because then he gets a mix of all of it, right? At the bottom of this, men just want to feel wanted and connected to you. They also want to feel safe. I know us ladies talk about wanting all of these things as well. It just proves that we're not that different.
Why is it when you put boys together, they just lose all composure and act like little children?
The problem is because men spend all day working hard and abiding by the standards set by society. They take care of their family. They don't often get to be goofy and silly. A lot of women aren't okay with a man showing that side of him. And that's who he is, and he wants to get it out. And he feels safe around his guy friends to do so. So naturally, they're gonna be silly and ridiculous.
And I guess my question would be, why does it matter? If they wait until they get together, that means that they've acted as if, like they're supposed to act. They've held stuff in, they've chilled out. Y'all don't want to hear me laughing and joking around, but when I get around my buddy, we're going to cut up. And now when we get into space to cut up, then you have something, even now you still have something to say. A man cannot win.